got a long sleeve on today. All right. So, what's up, everybody? This is the Comic Book Club. Today's book was Strange Adventures 180, and it was TM's choice. So, let's see if I can do this right. So, TM's going to be showing us computer video stuff, and I'm just going to give it to TM. Go ahead, TM, and start your review, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Biggie, and thank you everybody for letting me pick Strange Adventures 180. This is the first appearance of Buddy Baker slash Animal Man. I'll go through a little bit of a story and then go back to the cover and do my ratings in a bit here, but give you an overview of the story here. This is the cover, Strange Adventures. We get introduced to I was the man with animal powers. We get introduced to Buddy Baker here as he just gives a good left hook, it looks like, to an elephant. We start the story off by him talking to his lifelong crush, Ellen, who is in the comics to today. He ends up marrying her in the future, spoilers, where an explosion happens where a spacecraft falls down to Earth and radiation gets absorbed into Buddy Baker. As you can see there, it says kaboom. And then it goes straight into it where he starts to fight a tiger, and then he fights a gorilla, and then he ends up finding out, like, hey, I have animal powers. I can combat these animals. I can fight these animals. I'm going to do that. Then a guy comes and says, oh, these animals got escaped from a zoo. We need your help to catch them. Without thinking, he says, sure, I'll help you out. So we pretty much get all of that. It's just him saving people from the animals and rescuing the zoo animals as he goes
Is it a
along
zoo or
here.
traveling circus?
Traveling circus. Sorry, circus.
Yeah. Okay. Just sorry.
No, I apologize. You're right.
No.
I don't know why I thought zoo. And he just continues the fight. For some odd reason, like, this is a gripe I had with the book, is that he learns that he can use the powers quickly. Like, he can summon the powers of certain animals at certain times. And it just seems like it was a little quick of him to figure that out. Like, it didn't take him no time, because the exposition in this book, it goes. The action never stops in this book.
Mm-hmm.
We can continue going on. He realizes that he's losing the powers of these animals. The radiation is wearing off as he continues to fight them. He gets worried that he wasn't going to be able to save these kids, but he ends up saving them because he finds out he can use the power of the seal. So, and that's the end of the first part of that story. This is where I really like this story. The second part, I don't understand why they separated it, because it is one long story, but it's a part 1 and part 2.
It was the way DC did everything back then. Everything was done in like 8-page chunks or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, because it did come out in 1965.
Right?
Yeah,
65.
Yeah. They love doing things in parts.
So the second part comes, and we see that there is a beast going around the city, destroying it. And, of course, Buddy Baker, being the upstanding citizen he is, he's just like, I'll take care of it with my animal powers, because I was the man with animal powers. So he just jumps into it. I like this fight between these two characters, and that it's the character that is seen on the cover. You see them just fighting back and forth, and he realizes, oh, this beast must have had the same kind of radiation powers as I had, or I have gotten exposed to, because he's running like a tiger. as fast as a tiger right now, leaping as fast. Continue going on here. It's just exposition, fighting, him trying to save everybody, and the
Just quickly, the
City.
dialogue was censored just so that he could show the pages without worry about copyright. I'm just
yeah. Yeah, because it is digital. If it was me holding a comic, it would be different. But there's no way I can prove that I own the digital version, and you're not supposed to be showing digital copies with wording in that. So I didn't want to get Biggie's channel
in
copyright
trouble.
strike. Yeah.
Mm.
The fight continues, and that, but he ends up becoming. Well, he ends up losing his radiation powers, which is a little bit strange considering that to today he has the powers and he continues in the stories going forward, but he loses his radiation powers. He tries to figure out, how am I going to take this beast down? With quick thinking, he realizes that the beast has the same radiation powers that he has, so he grabs some field mice and brings them towards him and makes so the field mice are scared. That's their thing. They scatter away. They run in fear. So now this beast is feeling the same fear as the mice, so he ends up falling off the cliff and apparently perishes. We don't know. It's still open-ended. We don't see a body. We don't know he died.
That's true.
But at the end, Buddy Baker, this is kind of a love story in a way, because at the start you see that Buddy Baker is trying to ask out his longtime girlfriend Ellen, and he doesn't have the courage to do so. By the end of this book, he realizes that he has the courage to do anything, and finally asks out Ellen, and that is the story.
I thought
Asked
he
her
was
to marry
answering the
him.
question.
I think he asked her to marry him.
Yeah, Mary. Yeah, sorry. Because they end up getting married in the future, and that, like, if you know the lore of Animal Man, he ends up getting married to Ellen and has 2 kids and stuff, and one of his kids is actually the true avatar for the red, which is connected with the green and the rot.
Yeah, that's a little later than I've read, but I know about the kids and the marriage because I've seen Animal Man in the Justice League International.
All right. Well, I missed your scores because I was
No,
doing
he didn't
something.
give scores yet.
I didn't give scores in that. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the story. See, I'm familiar with Grant Morrison's run of Animal Man and Jeff Lemire's run. So going back and reading this and seeing this, it's a little different. It's definitely fast-paced. Exposition is just continues to go. It's nonstop, and dialogue heavy. It is a dialogue heavy book, but most Silver Age books are. Reading this, I enjoyed kind of seeing like the action that he does and how he was able to handle these animals quickly, and to see kind of who Buddy Baker is. Buddy Baker is not a kind of character to stand by and do nothing. If he knows he can help, he will. So for cover wise, I'll go to the cover. Cover wise, I really like the cover. It really draws me in. Really like the art on it. Isn't it the best? No, but it's still a cover that I really like, and I am biased because I do like the character, and I have the first appearance of the character, so I will give the cover a 4.
Okay.
Art-wise, some of the art was a little wonky. I love the backgrounds. He did do great work with the backgrounds, but some of the areas was just not that great. So I will say for the art, I'll give it a 3.5. Story-wise, like I said, it was a little fast-paced for me. The second part of the book I really liked more than the first part, because it was just, like I said, was him just capturing or trying to help out citizens that were trying to catch the animals that escaped from a circus. There's not much story to that. We do get to know that, like I said, that Buddy Baker is the kind of person just to not stand by and let things happen. He will jump in and try to help. That's what I got from that portion of the story. The second part I did like a little bit more, just because it was a one-on-one fight between him and a beast. So, being a huge Animal Man fan, it saddens me to say that I will have to give the story a 3. And so overall, 3.5.
All right. Very well done. I got to help a little bit in the other room, but could you pick between Matt and Alan to review next to him?
Let's go, Matt.
Okay.
First of all, a little history behind Animal Man, because Animal Man has been a character for quite a while. The original Strange Adventures run was on and off until issue 201, which basically meant that that was in 67, I believe, or 65. I'm not 100% sure, but the point was, okay, yeah, it's 65 to 67. So it wasn't a fly-by-night feature, which was common in these days for things like for books like Strange Adventures and House of Mystery. Although House of Mystery for a while had a couple of regular features. So it was good to see that this feature was given some time to develop. Buddy wasn't seen much until after Crisis. And that's when all this Animal Man books like the Jeff Lemire and all this stuff you're talking about runs happened. Buddy Baker was only used a couple times.
Didn't because like he showed up. Grant Morrison's run was really the one who defined him.
Yes, and that was all after Crisis, because before Crisis on Infinite Earths, he only had 2 major appearances after that. I was looking it up because I was very curious. So this character was very, very good. I liked Animal Man when he was a member of the Justice League International. He was always complaining because they called every time. It's like, but I was about to do this with my kids, and that was the running gag for the longest time. He was a very big family man. So let's go with the cover. The cover is a very good-looking cover for a 1960s DC Silver Age book. The black is perfect with the panels and stuff over it. The art on the cover is pretty good too, so I'm going to give the cover a 3.5. The interior art, again, for 1960s DC, you can tell that it's pretty decent. So the interior, do you know who did the art, TM?
Yeah, just give me. I have problem pronouncing his name, but it's Carmine Infantino.
Carmine Infantino.
No, Carmen.
So right off the bat, I'm going to give it a
Infantino.
4 because it's Carmine Infantino.
Carmen
Infantino. Sorry, it's spelled Carmine, and I've pronounced it that way forever.
Carmen
Infantino. He gets a 4. The writing of the story.
Hold on. So the cover was what? I'm sorry, Matt.
Cover was 3.5.
3.5.
Art is 4.
Okay. Thank you.
The writing for an origin story out of the blue. They nailed it all. They introduced Buddy. Bang. This is Buddy. He's shy with women, but he has a strong moral streak to do the right thing. Boom. Big explosion. Okay, there's your origin of powers. Discovery of powers. Great powers, because this was a power that wasn't used before. This was sort of unique, from my understanding at least. I haven't found a hero with similar powers that is older.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, if you know one, you can correct me on that. I'd be happy to
one.
correct
I mean, the only one that's even comparable, I don't know if it was before then, was Beast Boy.
That's the only one I could think of. But Beast Boy, it's different. He actually transforms into
Yeah,
the.
and Beast Boy
Mhm.
would be around the same time actually, because Doom Patrol also came out. Actually, Beast Boy would be slightly actually. Sorry, Beast Boy came out at about 65, so they'd be about the same. He wasn't an original member of the Doom Patrol. So anyway, the difference is Buddy doesn't change; he just gets the powers. And
Yeah.
actually, later you see Vixen has the same thing, but Vixen doesn't come along until 1981, so that's a different thing completely. Buddy is awesome. I've always liked him, but seeing his origin now, I really like him. And this was an average run of the mill 1960s Silver Age DC story, but it was well defined. There was a definite here's the origin, here's the this, here's the that, and now here is the crisis he has to solve with the alien. So overall, I'm going to give the writing a 3.75.
Okay.
And the book again is better than the sum of its parts. I enjoyed it immensely, more than I thought, especially as I said, as a result of reading it. Because Animal Man, to me, I haven't read the runs that that TMS. So for me, he was always this character that had this little because he's part of the crazy Justice League. So I didn't take him so seriously. Okay, now I do. And so I give the book overall a 4.
Nice. There was one thing at the end too. Like I feel like that you may know, Matt, because you looked there, did some research in that, but it feels like this character wasn't supposed to go on after this issue because like at the end it seemed like his radiation powers
Well, I
to
even
get the
asked Matt about that. If he
Well,
was,
here's the
if
thing.
they planned it.
My
because-
understanding, have it in the research, I didn't read 181, but it was established in the next story that the powers fade with time, and he has to be near them again to reuse them. So they wrapped it up in case it was going to be a one-off story, but he was popular, and Carmen Infantino enjoyed doing it, and therefore they kept going with it.
So I'm still making my plate. So Alan, you're going to
Okay, so I'll give a few extra insights into the story that just weren't mentioned yet. One, these are animal powers, and I thought the way that they played it up in the comic was smart, where he went from, a lot of the time with characters, they don't know what their powers are. Like Spider-Man had to learn his powers. A lot of the characters have to learn their powers. In this, because it was animal powers, he learned them instinctively because it was all animal instinct. And that's what I thought was cool, that he instinctively reacted to the different attacks of the animals that originally attacked him, the tiger and the gorilla. He responded based on his animal instincts. So the animal powers also had that instinctive kind of knowledge to them. So I thought that was actually well done in terms of this. The other thing is the beast was actually an alien, right? He was the one that crashed on the thing.
That's right.
And he was closer to the source of the power. And therefore, the power within that beast creature was actually amplified because he was closer to the source. So
Well,
that was kind of important.
Here's
that
the
he-
thing that I would argue: the source was what they wrote, but in reality, he looked bigger and tougher than a human. So therefore, maybe it was naturally more.
Well, I'm just going by the. What
Yeah,
the
no, I know,
comic said.
and it's
It
so.
said it was amplified because he was closer to the source. So the point is, he realized though that he was not a match for this monster, the beast guy. But he still, despite that, we kind of see a development of this character a little bit. Not, it's a short story, so there's not going to be a huge amount of development. We see a guy that's shy, and kind of lacks confidence. His friends kind of make fun of him for lacking that confidence, And we see a guy go from that to somebody who's confident and willing to take risks and even take charge of situations. So, you know, this is a kind of a story about gaining confidence in a lot of ways. And it sort of ends with him making the ultimate gain of confidence when he actually asks out his wife to be, um, well, asks her to marry him. And the thing is, he becomes a hero. Like the other people around recognize him as a hero,
Yeah.
and he's really gone. He's not only changed in his own person, but he's also changed in the image of the people around him, which is kind of cool. Um, so for me, I kind of felt like this reminded me of like an EC EC story, or like a, you know, very anthology like story. I know Strange Adventures is mostly anthologies. So it kind of reminded me of that, where you get like a story where it's, you know, one and done in a way. But that's why I even asked you, Matt, because he seems to have lost his powers, but he went through this, you know, arc. And
Mhm.
would there be any any story beyond? You know, it could have been the case that they would just say, "Well, we're done with this character, and let's move on to the next character." But it's good that they continued on, and I actually appreciate Animal Man from later on. I do think his powers are unique, and I think in a way that's what makes the story kind of cool. Like, for the most part, I think a lot of people that like comic books and like superheroes and stuff like that, the thing that mostly appeals to people is what are their powers and how are they going to use them and stuff like that, and how are these powers going to work in different situations. So what we saw is kind of them catering to that in this story. We saw him use the might of the gorilla to punch out a elephant. We saw him using the power of the sea lions to go into the water and rescue a child that was drowning. We saw like the different ways of using the animal powers in practical ways, and you know, they kind of give a little credence to how cool of a character he is based on the coolness of the powers in the way he uses them. And but we saw that just like when DC uses Flash, it's not that the character is totally reliant on their powers. It's not like they're I only can use my powers to defeat whatever foe that I go up against. They also use their wits and their bravery as well to go up against characters that should be able to defeat them.
Mhm.
He realizes that he physically cannot take out this character, this beast. He realizes that even with his beast powers, he cannot take out this other guy. But he uses his wits to, you know, basically, he earlier they kind of foreshadowed it where he
Mhm.
almost falls off a cliff, and he basically realizes that, hey, I can't fly. And then he sort of uses that kind of foreshadowing to then lure the beast to that same point where he can eventually knock him off that cliff.
Mhm.
And he does it using the very beast powers against the bad guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
He's very resourceful.
resourceful and using wits rather than just relying on sheer powers. That's always something you can appreciate. Like, you know, I in a way, it's kind of annoying when you see characters where the Mary Sue element,
Yes.
where they're just like, oh, they're so perfect. You know, their powers are just so much better than everybody else, and you know, and there's nothing really that you can, you know, there's no interest there because they're undefeatable. You know, it's like the Captain Marvel girl. You know, she's perfect. She's never, you can't beat her. So what's the point?
Mhm.
In this, it's cool because you get him to go up against a challenge that he cannot beat, and that is
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
got the same powers technically as he does, and amplified version of it. So in a way, that as a reader is enjoyable because you're like, okay, how is he going to beat this situation? And that's
Yeah.
something that always intrigues people. So I just want to kind of emphasize that point and, you know, really bring it forward. Um, so for me, I, I felt like this was a mid-range book. I'm gonna say that. I still liked it, but I'm gonna say it's a mid-range book. Um, I give it the cover. Actually, you guys have sort of made me lift up my scores. I was originally going to give everything a 3, but I'm actually going to be a little bit nicer because I feel like that was a little bit harsh, even though 3 is above average. I'm going to give this book 3.5 for every element. So the cover for me was like it's a good cover. Has like the thing where it shows his powers. It's kind of, it's all paneled out with all his powers being shown, and I kind of like the fact that it does that. So I give it a 3.5. The interior art was equivalent. It was very, same level as the cover. So it's a 3.5. The writing, I thought, it very, as I said, I like anthologies generally. So I like the way that they're very efficient at telling stories and achieving a lot, where you get character development. You know what kind of person he is, his motivations. And there's like 2 stories that actually happen in this one story. Not that it's 2 parts, but it's 2 stories. One story is a man who's a wimp in terms of girls, and he overcomes that fear to ask the girl that he wants to marry him. That's one story. And the other story is, how is he going to defeat this weird creature? And there's also the origin story in there as well. And that all happens within just like a few pages.
And he's on the cover.
And he's on the cover. So there's like so much that happens within a very short amount of time. So I give the story a 3.5. Overall, it's a 3.5 kind of book.
What was the inside art? I'm sorry.
Everything was a 3.5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I sort of felt it was very consistent. No one element kind of outshined the others. I felt it was, everything kind of worked in tandem, if that makes sense.
Okay, everything 3.5. That's easy enough.
Yep, easy enough.
1, 2, 3, 3.5. So, can you, TM, get to show the second part of the story, a couple panels, so I can kind of illustrate, like, if you're still there, TM?
The second part of the story?
Yeah. The beginning of the second part, kind of.
Let me get to it here.
So the first part was kind of like a very old school throwback Savage Man, and it wasn't really a Savage Man, but he was in a Savage Man setting with the wilderness and stuff like that, or whatever. Yeah, that's a pretty good panel. I like that one at the bottom. All right, so for the cover, for me, yeah, I'm gonna go 3.75 on the cover. BIG 3.75. I like the cover. I don't like it enough to give it a 4. I like it enough to give it a 3.75. So the inside art, I asked Al or TM before. He said cover and inside art's done by Carmine, and Carmine is a freaking genius. I think if the setting was in a different area, like maybe the city or a town or something, it would probably make it more dynamic. There's a lot of plain backgrounds, but everything's done well. It's not like it's done horribly. It's just kind of not super inspired, but getting the story done, I guess.
Well, he's in a city. He's in a city here, and that's where like the backgrounds really shine for me. Like the backgrounds, like the city and stuff, the buildings in the background is really good art for 65.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep going, there's not a bunch of buildings, but
the reason he's, he went hunting with a friend. That's why they're in the middle.
Yeah. So the first half isn't as good to me as the second half. I do like the monster and savages. I mean, the elephant art was great, and all the other stuff was good. The gorilla. So for inside art, I mean, it's Carmine Infantino. It's not his best, but I think I'm going to go 3.75. I'm kind of in agreement with Alan. I think it's not like one thing's that crazy better than the rest. Who wrote the story?
Just a minute.
I don't know.
It's written by Dave Wood. Dave Wood is the writer.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know writers. That's my flaw in life.
I don't either. I just want to make make a little assumption before I go. I don't know Dave Wood that well, but I love this era of comic books. It was an easy read. It was rewarding. It was a lot. It was kind of refreshing as opposed to some of the stuff we've read. You know, I love this era, like I said. So I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I think that's what's gonna be my whole. I'm gonna just steal from Alan, but add a quarter to it.
It's okay.
Yeah. So 3.75 and 3.75 for my overall.
I find it hilarious that I'm the one that scored it the lowest
Yeah.
for story.
You're brutal,
Yeah.
PM.
This,
That's
by the
your
way, if you make me big for a second,
Yeah.
I actually had this out earlier as part of the research. This is the last appearance of Animal Man before Crisis on Infinite Earths, and look at he's front and center on the cover.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So I just thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I have not read as you said in the next issue, that you find out that he's able to gain the powers like when he's close enough. That's been an ongoing thing for him going forward, but they definitely didn't think about that in this issue because he would have had the field mice powers as well.
Yeah. At
So
the same time, I think he needs to concentrate because he didn't think of the field mice necessarily as a power he could steal.
So the total for it's a 4-man ranking instead of a 5-man. So it's 58.25.
So let's see here. 58.25 over 80.
But I highly
It's
recommend
roughly
everybody
70%.
read this book.
Yeah. 5 divided by.
I think if I wasn't so used to Silver-Age that I would have probably gave the story a lower grade, but it is kind of my favorite era, so I gave it a pretty good score. But
It's a 73.125.
Okay.
And what does that rank it?
Well, it ranks it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 11th overall
Not bad.
so far.
Yeah, like I was saying, if it wouldn't have been the era it was in and done the way typically the books were done, I probably would have gave it a lower score on story. But the story wasn't bad, and it just might not have been my favorite kind of superhero stuff, you know. But it was good.
Yeah.
Maybe if you would have got a costume in there too, and the costume would have been cool instead of just like Dockers and a.
I don't think Animal Man ever has a costume, does he?
No.
Yes, he does. I just showed you.
I couldn't really see. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I remember small
make
screen.
me big. Make me big.
Okay, I'll make you bigger on my screen.
Yeah, hold on. I didn't
Zoom
expect
in
to
as
make
much
it
as you
bigger
can on Animal
Yeah.
Man's
as I walked
costume.
away.
He's
There you
the
go.
one
Is it
with
that
the
yellow
big,
thing
He's
that-
the one with the big A on it.
Yeah, he's the
yes. Okay, actually, I did know his costume. I just seen it before.
he
Okay.
looks better when he adds the jacket.
Okay.
Like when he adds the jacket, he adds a leather jacket to the
I've
to the
seen
costume
it,
and
actually.
that.
Now that you show it, I kind of clue in.
And there must have even if Carmine wanted to Carmen
Dinosaur Man would be even cooler.
Everybody,
wanted to continue to go, there must have been some love for the character even back then, because why would they continue to bring this character back, especially them not they left it close-ended. I feel like they wanted to end the story with the ending of this one. So there must have been some love for him and the character, because even later on, Grant Morrison's just I want to do a whole story about this character. So
I think we lost Depo. Anybody have any idea why? He just said goodbye. I don't really, but that's okay.
I don't know.
I will give an answer to Link's question here. Beast Boy would be the most powerful because he actually turns into the animals and he always has his powers. Vixen and Animal Man have to be in the case of Animal Man, he has to be near the animal, and in Vixen, she has to think of the animal and then rub the amulet she has.
I would definitely say it all depends though, because if we're talking about the revamped Animal Man by Grant Morrison, where Buddy Baker is connected with the every living being on Earth and the multiverse. I would say Animal Man because he's connected with the Red.
That would, yes, that
So
would
he
do.
becomes like the a Swamp Thing then, like connected to the green.
Yeah, he's very connected with Swamp Thing in the future. In that, like, Swamp Thing's the avatar for the Green, but then Jeff Lemire ended up. Instead of spoiling anything, I highly recommend everybody go read Animal Man by Grant Morrison and then Jeff Lemire.
So it was better than I thought it would be, though. I could say that, right?
I read this story years ago in a reprint collection, like one of those 100-page whatever, and I I remembered some of it. The part I didn't remember was the part with the woman, the girlfriend.
It's a love interest.
Yeah.
Shouts to C-Dub.
Okay. So
All right,
cool.
well, I guess that's it. So, Matt, what's your next pick, man?
I want to do Batman 121 because Mr. Freeze / Mr. Zero in this one is a really cool villain, and I think everybody should read this book.
Okay.
So it's the
So
first.
Batman-
It's Mr. Zero.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It was Mr. Freeze and Mr. Zero. Like that's what I'm saying. Mr. Zero is his original name. So Batman 121, Mr. Zero.
Cool choice. I
Yeah,
actually
very
really
nice.
like Mr. Freeze as a character.
I haven't
Well,
read
one-
this, so I'm excited.
Hold on. Slow down. The book you showed is the book we're reading, right?
Not really.
Not
It's
quite.
a reprint.
It's a reprint with a different cover. This one is a Comic Tom exclusive, but it's the book. It's the reprint of Batman 121, and that's the book I want to.
Somebody really nice must have given you that book.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. I'm trying to remember.
Okay. My key collector app is
Miss Allen, I know it's you.
not
Yes.
functional. So Batman 121 is that's right. Okay, you're right. So the original, just in case the
The
chat,
original. Yeah,
unless they were curious, I'll show them.
I have it. I just don't have it handy.
You don't have it? What?
I don't have it handy. It's behind me.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I
let
would
me.
have told you, Alan, but I only made the decision 2 minutes before broadcast.
Okay.
So this is the one we're reading.
Yes, that is a
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful book. Like that cover is great too.
Oh, well, that's a
Yeah.
Toys R
So
Us.
this is going to
yeah.
get a high score just based on the cover. I am the character.
That's
for
probably
me.
one of Kurt Swan's best covers.
Now,
I
if I
love when the
remember,
bad guys are on the like when they make their first appearance, they're on the cover and they're showing their powers.
I don't remember which story order. There's 3 stories in here. I don't remember which story order they're in, but the story I want to cover is the Mr. Freeze / Mr. Zero.
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, my buddy 84 has it. I could have got it, but I chose Brainiac instead. So whatever.
So of the two, I would choose Mr. Freeze over Brainiac. I was really impacted by the animated series. I really loved my favorite episode was the Mr. Freeze episode. I just thought it was so
It
so touching.
was watching the Batman animated series that made me like him too.
Yeah. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole where I got his first appearance. Then I got his first appearance in the proper name. And then I found out there was an earlier appearance where he was called Mr. Freeze in DC that actually appeared before he was Mr.
Black Hawk.
Nice.
Yeah, the Black Hawk one, yes.
Yeah, I know
Nice.
that.
So I picked up all those different things, a little rabbit hole of Mr. Freeze.
I would say that this is the biggest Batman book of the Silver Age.
Yeah,
Yes, it is pretty close to
Martian
to-
Manhunter would be the other one. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not really.
that's kind of
that's a detective, but not a
yeah.
you know. And actually, I would argue in the sense that Batman 324 is, 320, Detective 327 is just as big a book with the new look, but also it put it on the path of saving the book because I don't know if you know the story behind Batman, but basically that was Carmen Infantino's first book on Batman with Julius Schwartz as editor.
And they changed
They
the
were
logo.
told They were told they changed the logo for a reason. They were told they had 6 months to make Batman sales go up again, or they were canceling the character. Because of all those bad sci-fi stories, the books had plummeted in
Really?
sales. Yes. The things like the Rainbow Batman and the Zebra Batman, things that people collect now, were not selling well.
I'm still trying to pick up the zebra one, by the way. I like the. I have the rainbow one. That's such a funny story. It's like the hokiest story
Yeah.
ever.
You got something you want to say, Tim?
He's on mute.
No.
Nope. Okay. Well, we'll go around the horn. I think Matt's gonna be.
Actually, I do have thank you everybody for reviewing this book and reading it and that and giving it such a high praise and stuff. Maybe more people will get to know who Animal Man is and be able to go check out this character because he is underappreciated in my opinion. So thank you, Biggie, Matt, and Alan for giving it a high review and liking the book. I appreciate all of you.
Mhm.
You're welcome. Thank you for suggesting
Thank you,
it.
DM.
I think Matt has a stream he's doing tonight. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the Son of Crom's channel on his Legion of Substitute Heroes broadcast at 9, just after this at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. He's in Pacific, that's why I'm bringing it up. They want me to come on and explain the origin of the Legion of Substitute Heroes. So I've pulled out a few books, and I'm going to give them a quick rundown of the history of the
Oh, I thought you were going to do it right here. I was like, oh well, I get to.
Bonus.
Yeah, Sunday coming up.
Right
This
Right.
Sunday coming up on my channel is my Superman Sunday show, and that's when I'm going to do the giveaway.
Yes.
My subscriber giveaway.
I'm also doing a giveaway. I'm gonna show some of the books on Collector Club this Friday. So
Yeah,
By the way, I thought the hashtag you had people use was really funny, Matt.
yeah, we did that on purpose. I actually
video for it?
I asked Nate which one I should use, and he's like, "Oh, come on, that's too funny. You got to use that one." So,
Where's the giveaway video at?
the giveaway video is. I will. You know what? You go ahead and talk, people. I will put it in the chat.
Okay, yeah. So, Alan, you did your Monday special. What was that?
Yeah.
I forget.
It was me just showing some books. We had a big discussion about the state of the comic book market. And on Saturday, though, I have something super special coming. I have 6 boxes from Stackery coming.
Oh,
It's
good.
going to be my biggest unboxing ever.
What's the news about your birthday books that were mysteriously?
So they got sent to my Stackery.
Yay!
So they're coming this weekend as well.
Hell yeah! You should have updated me. I was concerned.
Yeah, no. So they got returned, and I said just send them to Stackery. Maybe it's maybe safer that way.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right.
So yeah. So fortunately, nothing was lost, and they didn't even open the package.
Oh, okay.
It was in customs for a month, and they didn't. I don't know why it was there, and then they never opened it. So it was
Interesting.
weird. Yeah.
So on my video that I've just put the link on the channel, you've
Yeah.
got to be a subscriber, and you've got to make a comment on there with the hashtag I have that.
Oh, nice.
I wonder who says that a lot.
Join us at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sunday for the Sunday Superman show, and we'll do the giveaway. I'm giving away 6 prizes.
I'm gonna go do it right now
Cool.
before we leave.
I put it in. I signed up for the giveaway. I'm always
Yeah.
into free stuff. So
Yeah, I have that. Everybody else go do it too.
oh, Lyle's here. Hey, Lyle.
And
Well-
of course, on Friday, I will be Alan's guest for his
Of course.
Friday night show, and back on Biggie if Biggie's on it Friday night.
I absolutely will be on, so I appreciate your attendance. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting together a giveaway for my 1300. I'm at 1322 right now, so I blasted
But
that.
I'm almost at 5,000.
Cool.
Yeah, I see that. You're climbing very steadily lately.
Yeah, actually, lately I've been growing pretty fast. I gained almost 50 subs in the last week.
Nice.
I got 10 since Sunday. So I think people have signed up to do the draw, and they're signing up. So
Yeah, hopefully they stay with you.
well,
I think I
That's
got
my
about
big fear.
they'll stay if the content is good. Come for the
Yeah.
giveaway. Stay for the videos. Stay for the knowledge.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for watching the show. Thank you guys that graded the book. TM, that was very cool. That was TM's first book. And next week we will be reviewing the first Freeze or Dr. Zero, whatever you want to call them. So
Mr.
catch
Zero.
y'all, Mr. Zero. Catch y'all later, man.
Bye, everybody.